Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Crafting Queens. And don't forget that we want to make sure, my hair is all windblown from earlier. Don't forget, you want to make sure that you subscribe and that you also vote for your favorite by hitting the little like button. Because we do pick a winner every week. The first week, Romasario was our crafting queen. And this past week, I was your crafting queen. So today I'm going to show you another cute project. And let me go ahead and I'm going to turn you down so I can show it to you. And then I'll give you all the details. Okay, so this is our project. Really super cute card. It can be used as a masculine card, or it can be used for a kid's card, or just anybody. I guess it's just really cute. This slides, and the little animals change places, like so. Then when you're done, you can just put it back in and slide it back across. So it's a little bit of an interactive card for you. So we're going to go ahead and get started. What you're going to need for this project is the beautiful butterflies. And in this set, we're using the Happy Birthday. We are also using the Let the Adventure Begin from the Adventure Together stamp set. And you're going to want the bundle Peekaboo Forest. Now, this is an online exclusive. Love this. So you will not find this in our catalog. You will find it online. And there's so many cute online sets available. I know you'll just love this one. It just has so many possibilities. When I was designing this card, you know, we were looking for a card sketch. And the card sketch had 3 items going across the top. And then there was a ribbon or baker's twine wrapped around the middle with a little sentiment. So this is my take on it. So I have the 3 things going across the top, my baker's twine here, and then my happy birthday. Now this is using the Stylish Shapes label. And this is the 3-pack of ribbon that was with the nested winter paper. It's called Natural Tones Linen Thread. And you get some really pretty colors. I think there's a navy, there's like a Cajun craze, and then this garden green, which works out perfect. So to get started, you are going to need a piece of 5.5 by 8.5 cardstock. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cut here. I'm going to bring out my cutter. And I apologize, I'm a little nasally today because I went to Onstage and I came back with ear problems. I don't know if anybody else got that, but it was well worth it. Onstage was amazing. If you're currently not a demonstrator but would like to experience that, you know, feel free to join my team. We love to have you. We had a blast. We rented an Airbnb and stayed with a bunch of our teammates. And we met up with a lot of other members of our team. So it was really a lot of fun. Okay, so we scored this at 4 1/4. So you have your piece of 5.5 by 8.5. Score it at 4 1/4. Fold it over. We're going to turn it so it's landscape. Then we're going to need a piece of basic white. Excuse me. And the basic white needs to be 5 1/4 by 4. So I'm just going to bring that in here. 5 1/4 by 4. There we go. Now, our other piece that you're going to need for the slider, you might as well go ahead and cut this leftover piece. It needs to be 5.5 by 1.5. So that's going to look like that. And that's going to go right across your paper like this. Okay, the next thing we're going to need is a piece of pecan pie. And I'm going to cut it at 5.5 because I have 3 trees that we're going to need to get out of this, okay? So you're going to use 1/2 of that. And then we're going to need some green, but we'll get to the green in just a little bit. So let's work with what we have here. Let me slide my good old cutting board out of the way. And let me grab some of my inks that we're going to need. So you're going to need Memento ink. You are going to need Garden Green ink. And you are going to need some blends. Oh, and we're going to need pecan pie as well. Let me grab my pecan pie. We need to do our trees. Okay. Let me move this out of the way so it's not cluttering up my desk here. We'll move our card base out of the way because we're going to work with our pecan pie piece first. And I'm going to grab out of the stamp set the big tree stamp, which is right here. I'm going to put that on one of my blocks. And then we're going to stamp it 3 times. Okay, so I'm just going to ink this up really good. And let me grab my mat so we get a nice clean image. There we go. All right, so here's number 1. There we go. Then we're going to do that again. Now what I found to get all 3 on one is if you turn the stamp set this way. There we go. Okay. And then we have one more. Put him right down here. All right. Now we're going to cut those out after I clean that. Let me grab my chamois here. Sorry about the wiggling. Okay, and I'm going to grab our cut and emboss machine next, and we're going to cut out this tree. Now we do have to do a little tree surgery, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Well, I got too much stuff in my way of my cut and emboss. Ink pad fell over. There we go. We're just going to lay the die on carefully. And then we're going to run it through. We're going to do this 3 times on all 3 of those trees. And it's nice because it cuts out the hole in the center for you too, which I liked. Now, I do have to take my snips because I don't know if you see it, but it doesn't cut the top portion of the tree. So I'm just going to cut that. There we go. And now we'll do the next one. It's really nice because you could almost make this a flap, like, and lift up the whole tree too if you want to do something different. Okay. The funny thing was, my friend Jen and I, we both used the same set and both made a card. They're both interactive cards, but entirely different. And we didn't even know it, which was really funny. We showed each other our projects today, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So that was a pretty cool thing. All right, and again, I'm going to cut this top part of this little tree off here. And it's going to be covered by the greenery above anyway. And then we have one more to cut out. You probably hear my wind chimes out there going. When my dad passed away, my friends got me this beautiful set of wind chimes, and it's just a really nice reminder, especially on a windy day, of my dad. All right, and this is number 3, and I'm going to put the cut and emboss away so we can work on our card. All right, and again, we have to cut the top of this one off. All right. Now, when I made this card, as you can see, not all trees would fit on here. They'd be way too close together. So I left the right side alone, and I come in and I did a little tree surgery, and I just cut on the one line, making it a thinner tree, just like that. So we're going to do that to 2 of the trees. The third tree we're going to leave full size. So again, you just take a line on here and just kind of follow it up. And there's that one. And this one we're going to leave alone. Okay, now we need to take our white piece and we're going to glue that down on the card front. Let me find my glue gun here. I have it here somewhere. I use Tombow liquid glue, in case you're wondering what's in here. I like the Tombow because the Tombow dries pretty quickly, but yet it still gives you an opportunity to move things around. I just keep refilling my bottles with Stampin' Up! Tombow. I'm just going to glue this down on here like so. That looks pretty good. All right, now we have to figure out, okay, that's a side tree. And this is a side tree. And I tried to put them as close as I can to the edge. And then we have the full-size tree, which is this one here that's going to go right in the center, just like this. And they can overlap just a little bit. There. Now, see how this is white on the bottom? I don't want that to be white because it's going to show. So you can do one of 2 things. Since we don't have a garden green blend, I wanted to make it look more like the tree. So I'm using light pecan pie. And all I'm going to do, I'm going to take the brush end and I'm just going to go across the bottom here, like so. Just so that white doesn't show through. My little branches. There we go. And now when people see the card, they're not gonna see white here underneath these branches, or these trunks, I should say. There we go. And I might need to do a little bit more tree surgery because I don't want it to go past the card, but I'll do that after we're all done here with this. All right, so I want to pop these up on dimensionals. So let me grab the dimensionals. And when you put these in, or on the tree stump, you want to put it along the bottom, but you want to allow enough room where this is going to come through. See how that is? You're going to put one right here to kind of act as a guide. I hope everybody can see that. See, this is going to be a guide for my piece of paper. And then I'm going to put another one on the top up here. Okay. Now my next tree is going to be the big tree. So I'm going to, there we go. I'm just going to lay this down in here. I'm going to position my trees. There. And this one I want to make sure that I line up these two holes together, because I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put a dimensional here, a dimensional on the top, and then I'm going to put a dimensional here, and then we're going to have this guiding one. So again, I'm going to put it through this side, and I'm going to see where we need to put that. All right. Now I'm going to put that right here, just like this. But before I put this one down, I want to do my last tree over here, because this one here has to line up like the other ones, but I want this big tree with the full trunk to go over top of both of these other trees. Okay. So this is what the dimensionals look like on this one. Now you're just going to lay this down. Again, we're going to do a little tree surgery afterwards. We want to get it as close to the edge as we can. And now we can put that full tree over top, like so. I want to make sure all of my little holes are lined up. There we go. All right, now this piece you can see is going to slide in and out very nicely. Okay, now for these inside spots, you can do a couple different things. I'm going to show you the easy way to do this. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp in the center, let the adventure begin. And we're going to use our Memento ink. I got to show you, look at this really cool block. My friend Cheryl, she was one of my roommates for Onstage, one of my sidelines. She had this made for us. Isn't that cool? But anyway, you're going to take your stamp here. We're going to ink this up really good. And then we're going to come in here in the center spot very carefully. And we're going to stamp Let Adventure Begin. Like that. And I got a little ink up there off my ink pad. But that's okay because it's going to be covered up. All right, next thing you're going to do is you're going to take a scrap piece of white, and we need to stamp our little critters to color them in. So let me go ahead. I'm going to pull that out. Get some of this stuff out of the way so you can see what I got going here. So I'm going to pull out the bear, and I need to have the little, I don't know if it's a hedgehog or a possum or a porcupine, whatever he is, and we're going to need him. And we're going to need the Memento black ink again. And you're just going to stamp these on here. Like so. Let me get my cleaner. Isn't he cute? I just love this set. I think there's so many options for that. I saw some cute cards that people made at Onstage too, using this set. Okay, so I got those 3 done. I have all my stamps cleaned. Now we need to color these. So for the bear, I am using, I better put the ink back together here before I get that all over me. For the bear, I'm using light pecan pie and dark pecan pie. So we're just going to color him. Now this does have a little bit of coloring to do, but it's very simple. It's just inline coloring. So I'm just going to color the bear's face with the dark pecan. And then I want his little hair there. And I put just little dark spots on his paws. Okay. Then I'm going to come in with the light pecan. I'm going to color this in like this. I couldn't believe the Michigan weather. We came back from North Carolina, and it was beautiful there. It was like 78 degrees, 76, 78. We get into Michigan. It was cold, of course. It was 50-something, I think, when we flew back in. Yesterday was gorgeous outside in Michigan. I mean, you could sit out on the porch and have a lightweight long sleeve or a t-shirt on. Today, it was snowing here in Michigan. So go figure on that. Now, I do extend my little bear here, just like this. Because I don't want any white to show. Okay, that's our bear, and we use pecan pie. Now for our little raccoon, we're going to use dark smoky slate and light smoky slate. So the dark smoky slate, I'm going to use for the inside of his ears right here and his little eyeballs. So, and I'm also going to get his little toenails, like that, and his center nose piece. Okay, and then I'm going to color the rest of him in with a light smoky slate, like this. There we go. Just color him in, just like this. And again, I'm going to extend it below the body, like so. Just like that. Oh, excuse me. Okay, and then we have our little porcupine, I think you're going to call it. He has light crumb cake for his body. And I'm also going to use Pebbled Path, light Pebbled Path on him. Now, if you are liking Pebbled Path, make sure you order your ink and refills and your blends, because that is a retiring color. I'm so sad to see that one go. That and Boho Blue. They're a couple of my favorites, and they're both going to be gone. Makes me sad. Okay, and then I'm going to take the light Pebbled Path. I'm just going to come in. The first thing I'm going to do is just go over these little lines with the Pebbled Path. And it just kind of makes them look a little bit pokey. There we go. just like this. And then we're going to color in his little nose, or little face, just like that. And then we're going to get out the cut and emboss machine, and we're going to cut these out because they do come with dies. So we have one for each of them. The thing I like, they come with these little tabs on the bottom too. So you could easily make them pull tabs themselves to make the animals go up and down if you wanted to. All right. There we go. And I'm going to put these little buggers in here. We're going to take the little Mr. Raccoon first. And we'll get him all lined up. There we go. Put our top plate on. We're going to run that through. Now you could have stamped these directly in the holes, but I will tell you, I just don't trust myself on something so detailed. I would rather, you know, die cut it out and have it done versus having to fussy cut it. So the choice is yours. You don't have to cut anything if you stamp it in a little hole where each of these animals go. But I don't know. I just don't want to chance it. And then we have one more, the bear. Now, if I had my sticky tape out, I probably could have did all three of these at once. There he is, and our Mr. Bear. Our little bear. All right, now I'm going to put this back again for a minute, for a hot second, and then we're going to use it again. But all right, let me get a quick drink. Okay, put these dies away because the next thing you'll know, they'll be clicking to my phone. I have a magnetic thing on the back of my phone, and whenever I can't find a die, that's typically where I can locate it. So, all right. So now we take our card again, and we can pick which animal. I'm going to use the bear, and I'm going to put him. I'll put the bear in this hole, and all I'm going to do, and you can kind of do a little surgery if you don't want this on here, this little tab, but I'm going to take my glue, my liquid glue, because I want these to be flat. And I'm just going to stick this in the hole like this. You might have to use your scissors or bone folder to pull that up a little bit. And I'm only going to use the raccoon. I really didn't even need to use a possum on this one because I have the possum on the front card. He's replaced by this Let Begin, but if you have an extra one, you can always throw them in the inside. I'm going to do this again. I'm going to put liquid glue on here like this. And throw this little guy in the hole here. There we go. All right, so now that piece is done. Now we need to do our slider piece. Now, our slider piece, this is important because you need to take, in order to know where these animals go. All right, I lay a piece of paper across here, and I'm just going to take one of my blends, and I'm going to put an X where I need the center point to be. Now, on my piece of paper that I already cut 1.5 by 5.5, I'm just going to lay this on top. This end is going to hang off just a little bit. Actually, I probably should center him a little more. Just like that. And I'm going to stamp, oops, I'm going to stamp my images again and color them. So let me go ahead and do that. Now you could also do it this way. Leave this piece that you didn't cut already. You have your X's so you know the center points. And then you could just come in. Now you have to figure out what order you want them. We don't want the bear in the same spot because the whole point of this is to make it fun. So let's put in this spot, we'll put a raccoon. Now I'm going to show you both ways to do this. So I can put my little raccoon down here. And then I'll take and get my bear. I'll put him in the center. And then my last one is going to be my little porcupine thingy. Okay, so I'm going to show you. Now I can just take my cutter and just cut along here on this one. Or I have this one and we can make sure it works. We're just going to slide it in. And look at it, works perfect. Just by marking those X's. I prefer to cut the 1.5 inch strip first because that way you'll know where everything goes. So we're going to take that out. We're going to color those in with the blends. So we're first going to do our light smoky slate. There's not a whole lot of coloring in this, which I like, because these are very simple figures. Very easy to color. Okay, and then we're going to take our dark smoky slate. Do his little ears and his little eye patches. And then his little nose. And then his little nails. Oh, and look at, I forgot to color his one foot. We'll go back and grab that little foot. There we go. And then I'm going to do my bear in the light and dark pecan pie. We're almost there. Okay, and then we just have his dark pecan pie. just go around those little nails here at the bottom. There. And then we just have our little porcupine. We're going to use crumb cake, light crumb cake. Make sure I get both of his little feet. There we go. And then we're going to use Pebbled Path for his other little part. His little pokers. And then his little nose. Okay, next we're gonna take our tab punch, which if you haven't seen this, it's pretty amazing. All you're gonna do is take the tab and punch. And for those who are wondering, this is what it looks like. Okay. And I'm going to hook this on the end of my pull here. So I'm just going to put glue right along this inside edge here and this inside edge. And then I'm going to put this on the end of my on the end of my piece, like so. Okay, and we're just going to pinch that together for just a moment. And then this is going to slide right in here, like this. Isn't that cute? Now we need to do our tree. For the tree, you're going to grab a piece of garden green, and we're just going to cut this. We want it to be, ooh, I almost dropped my drink on the floor. We want this to be 5 1/4 inches. And I want mine to go down a little bit further than the other one I had. So I'm going to do 1 3/4 inches. So you're going to do 1 3/4 inches. Like this. And then we're going to take the die and we're going to run that through. Okay? And there's a die in here for, let's see, where did I put the stamps at? Right here. There's a die in here for the tree, which is this here. Okay, so let me grab my cut and emboss machine again, pick up some of my junk on my desk so you don't have to see everything. Get those little pieces out of the way. All right. And we're just going to lay this across here. Now you'll notice that it doesn't go all the way to the end. Once we cut through once, we're going to come back through and use this smaller end here to finish off the end. Okay, so I'm just going to lay it on there like so. And we're going to run that through. And now we're going to move the die to finish off our piece. We're just going to line it up, and I know you can't see what I'm doing. I'll try to show it this way. I'm just going to line it up right there. Right there. And put our plate back on. And run it through again. Just to get that one little cut. And now we have our entire tree piece, as you can see here. All right, let me get rid of this big cut and emboss machine off my desk. I love how portable it is. I can just put it wherever I need to. And now we're going to take the little leaf set out, and we're just going to decorate the tree in garden green. So let me get the little leaf. Would you hand me the tiny block over here? My helper's going to get me my tiniest block I have over in my bin. Thank you. Because if you use a different size, you're probably going to get green all over everything. Okay? So now I got my piece here, and I am just going to randomly stamp leaves. And you can do as many or as little as you like. I do like to go along the edge here and kind of get the leaves like they're, and then these I kind of randomly slather all over the place. And they can overlap because, I mean, this is a tree, right? So there's our branch. Let me clean this green before I end up with it all over. Okay. And I already have green on my finger. And it's not even on my thumb. I can't even say I have a green thumb. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals. So I'm going to grab my dimensionals again. And before I put these on, or before I peel the backs off, I'm going to wrap my baker's twine around. So let me grab my baker's twine. You ever do that? I pulled it from both ends, and now I have a nice mess. I don't know how I did that, but I did. My mom would say it's just going to take patience. Just patience to wind that back around. She's sitting over here laughing. She came to help me today. All right, I'm going to start on this side. And you can straighten this too with a bone folder if you don't like it real curly. And I'm just going to wrap it around and wrap it around. And then I'm going to come back here and I'm going to tie in a bow. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. Just coming in like this. I should go underneath that other one too. Hold up a second. Let me go underneath this one. So it keeps both of them intact. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to tie a bow. You don't want to pull too tight on that. Let's tie a knot first to hold it in place. And then we can tie a bow on there. There. And there. Like so. Now we just need to tweak this because obviously that's not a very cute bowl. It's kind of large. That's not bad. We'll snip these off. There. Now we can take the dimensionals off the back. Just like that. And then these are going to go on here. You're just going to line it up. You're going to look at the top where the white is and the sides. And voila. Now we have our top. Now we need to use our Okay, now we need to take the happy birthday, and this is from the beautiful butterfly set. And I'm going to put that on a block. And we're going to use Memento ink. I'm going to bring in my good old foam pad here. I want a good clean image. And then we're gonna stamp in here. Make sure I got the right side. Yep. We're gonna stamp on here, happy birthday. Just like that. There we go. Excuse me. And then we're gonna pop it up on dimensionals. And that is going to go right here on the top in the center, like that. And then this will slide back and forth. We have one more thing to do. We need to take a piece for the inside of our card. And you're going to cut that 5 1/4 by 4. Oh, excuse me. All right. Now, typically, I don't like to put sentiments in the inside because I like to write in them. So you can choose what you'd like to do. But I do want to stamp this little branch and this bird. Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. And we're going to stamp this in pecan pie ink. And I want to come out of the side. Maybe like this. Okay. And then we're going to stamp the little bird. Oh, excuse me. In Memento ink. We're just going to put his little feet. That. Okay. And I think he's supposed to be a woodpecker. Not positive on that. And I am just going to use fun colors. I want to use cherry cobbler. I'm going to put this as cherry cobbler. And again, I have no idea what a woodpecker is supposed to look like. Oh, shoot. I got black ink on there. Doggone it. Hold on, folks. Hold on. Let's try this again. That's what happens when you get ink on your fingers. I wipe my hands off very, very good. I'm going to try this branch thing again. Maybe I'll put it a different way too. Okay, that's all good. Now I need the little birdie and memento again. Let me shut this up. Hopefully so I don't get more ink all over me. Wipe my hands off again. Hopefully you can see that. Okay. And we're going to color his little head in red again. And then I'm going to use light crumb cake for his little body here. Like that. And maybe I'll even come in here with a little bit of that. And then I'm going to come in with the dark crumb cake. Like that. And then we're just going to do his little bill. And I'm going to do that in light pumpkin pie. Like this. And then I'm going to color my branch in with the light pecan pie. So it looks like this. I love that you can even color this over the branches like this. Like that. And then we're going to add a couple of green leaves in garden green to our little branches. Like that. And I think I'm going to color those in with, let me try using, let's see. Let's use the dark Granny Apple Green. See if we can get as close to the garden green. Okay, and then I am going to use Time to Celebrate out of the Beautiful Butterfly set 2. And we are going to put it on the inside. Let me just wipe my block off here. And then we're going to ink up in Memento again. And we're going to put this right here. Like that. I messed it up a little bit, but I think if I try to change it, I'm going to mess it up even more. I needed to put my mat down that I forgot. Make sure you're using your foam mat with the photopolymer. If you don't have it, make sure that you order one because they are fabulous. Now we're just going to put this in the inside of our card using a little liquid glue, a little Tombow, like so. And that, my friends, is our card. We have a little sliding action going here. Oops, I'm caught in his ear. We get a little sliding action there, and then when you open it up, you have this time to celebrate with the little woodpecker. Now, make sure that you use a little like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out. I would really appreciate your vote. Things are getting very competitive now. Ro and Jen make beautiful projects. I need you to vote for me. I'll also put the list of supplies that I use for these cards in the description, so make sure you click on that. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next week.